Hey everyone, today I'll be taking you through puberty as it relates to boys. So we'll start by defining what puberty is. That is the time when your body changes. Um, it is the period of time between childhood and adulthood. Um, Puberty it involves you changing the body, changing from being that of the body of a child to an adult. Usually, what happens there is called secondary growth because it's usually a sexual growth. And for short, you can simply say the body is being prepared to be able to reproduce, and it takes place in both boys and girls. This puberty is caused by um, some chemicals called hormones that are produced in the body. These chemicals are produced in the body of both boys and girls. For girls, we have the estrogen and the progesterone, but because this focus is on boys, we shall be talking about the hormone testosterone. That is the hormone for boys, the hormone that is responsible for the different changes in the body of boys. The hormone is usually produced at the base of the brain, in the pituitary gland that is found at the base of the brain, and they're called sex hormones. And okay, so let's look at Chris's story. They tell me I'm going to puberty. We'll find out at the end of the story that you really can't tell if it's this happens in a boy or in a girl. Hi, I'm Chris, and I'd like to tell you about what's happening to me. It seems that every day brings a new change. It's almost like I'm getting a new body. They tell me I'm going through puberty. One thing that's happening is this new hair that's growing in places it's never been before, like under my arms. I know this is normal and all, but it takes getting used to. I don't mind some changes I'm seeing. In fact, some things I even like. I'm taller than I was last year. I know I'm smarter just because I'm able to think and write about what I'm going through now. But then there are some changes that aren't so good, like body odor. I don't understand why I was starting to smell, but when I was told that it is because my sweat glands are reacting to my hormones, I realized it's not too bad if I wash and use deodorant. What I really don't like is acne. I remember I was getting ready to go to a party when I looked in the mirror and saw this big spot staring back at me. I went to the party anyway. I noticed that many other kids had the same or worse luck with their spots. I wonder how common this is. There's one thing I get a little embarrassed about. It's even hard for me to say this. When I was at a party the other day, I was with someone I like and I got this new feeling. It was strange, but kind of nice. They tell me it's normal, is it? They tell me I'm going through puberty. That means I have to go to school with my sports and many things like my body odor, but I'm taller and smarter and growing into an adult, so I think I'll survive. Okay, if you listen to that story, you'll find out that there is no change happening to Chris that will indicate one gender over the other. So those changes are common and they are normal and they're common in both the boys and the girls. So let's look at the physical changes that common to the boys. I've told you that they are caused by the hormones, and it takes place during adolescence. Anything between the ages of 8 and 18. And for boys, though, it might start around 10 to age 15. So what changes happen to boys? Boys usually grow taller and heavier. They get bigger. The bones become bigger and heavier. Their noses and jaws get bigger, get longer face. They become more muscular. The hair and skin can become oily, and then they begin to get spots in on the face, on the skin, and the body tend to sweat more. Of course, I've told you all those things. You can blame them on the hormones. The hair grows on the face, they begin to have the beards, the mustache, and under the armpits and around the genitals. That's called the pubic hair. And then they may get more hair on the arms and legs and the chest. And of course, their voices begin to get deeper. They can do hello words there. And also the penis and the testicles grow bigger and longer. That's the male sexual organ. And they also have mood swings, sexual thoughts, and feeling. So those are physical changes. To talk about the emotional changes to take place in boys, you know, um, the mind, the feeling also changes. They may become lonely, sometimes confused, they may overthink some things at times and confused, at other times they have mood swings, feel irritable, uh, tearful. It's not that boys cannot cry. At times they feel tearful, even about watching movies, something that they know is not real, but they can still be tearful. They can have this overwhelming happiness, or at times just basically confused. And mostly they want more independence. They want to show the macho, the independence. I can do it. I can go there, and that also leads them to becoming more argumentative. Because they want to know why, and they want to assert their own independence, and at times they also become bad tempered. So and this most of these changes can lead to conflict with parents. So we'll quickly look at some of the things that can cause conflict with parents during this time. Homework. The parents want you to do it at a particular time. You feel you can do it at a particular time. The clothes. Uh, Previously, during childhood, probably is one of the parents or both of them that are responsible for your clothing. But because of the independence, you want to assert yourself and say, oh, these are the kind of clothes I want. And we've had boys whose parents had bought their clothes and then they go, no, I'm not going to wear that. And all that, during this period. Then the games they play, they want different kinds of games, and at times they even want the different ones from the ones they played during childhood. And of course, the internet usage, they want, all in a bit to assert their independence. They want to have more access to the internet and get more things from there. And of course, music choices and volume. It might be your parent might be the conservative type that doesn't like certain kinds of music, but in your own growth, you might have developed the taste for certain choices of music and volume that may differ from the parent, and all this can lead to conflict. Friends and the choice of friends, the bedroom, how you keep it, neatness, and all that, and the choice of leisure activities. Those are some things that can cause conflicts with parents, and of course, we have to find a way of we have to find a middle ground between the parents and the children to keep the parent happy, to keep the child growing. Okay. Um, for your parents, tell them about how you're feeling. One interesting thing is that these parents have also felt that way before because they were once adolescents before they became adults. So you can actually tell them they know, and they will appreciate it if you are able to communicate with them. Another way of telling them how you feel is to ask for their advice. Okay, it makes them feel included in your life, and listen to them when they talk to you is very important. To listen when they talk to you. I'm not saying you should obey. Of course you should obey, but I'm not saying you just take everything they tell you, but listen first. Then if you have points where you will disagree, then you can disagree with them and tell them why you are disagreeing. Give your points, and then you will both have robust communication, parent and child. Okay, then it's also important that you accept that they have the right to lay down some rules. Okay, they have the right, they have the duty of parenting you. And parenting involves rearing, correcting, guiding in the right path. And don't forget, they've been there before. So you must be willing to meet them halfway. If, for example, they're giving you a particular time to come back home, no child comes back to my house later than 7 p.m., for example, and you have certain lessons to attend to, or let's say church program to attend to, and you tell them why you might be pushing it to maybe 7:30 and make them see reason, and then they'll tell you why they want it. Okay, let me just give you to 7:15, and then you find a halfway around it. And of course, when you're trying to talk to them, when you're communicating with them, don't lose your temper, don't walk out on them. Okay. If you show that you can accept no, actually, they might be willing to say yes in the future. They might be willing to see that, oh, this child is actually maturing. But by the time you lose your temper, you're throwing tantrums already, and that's showing you're still a child. Okay. Please, when going out, they need to know where you're going and with who. We've had so many cases that this has become a very important safety measure. Okay, let them know where and with who, and then you must agree with them for the time, about the time you will be coming back. Let them know if you are going to be late. If you have a cell phone, a means of communication, and you are in a condition where you might have to come late, please, the minimum you can do is to send a text message or pull a call through. I will be coming late. I'm held up in traffic. I will be coming late. We had to do this thing and it's taking more than enough time. Let them know. And please, it's also important as a child to help around the house, okay, because you will need it. You will, if you are the helpful child, they will see you as a more responsible child, and they will be able to give you more responsibility, including the responsibility of your independence. Okay. Let's move on from there quickly. Now we also have conflicts with friends. We can also have conflicts with our friends. So let's look at what are the things that can cause conflicts with our friends, especially, our emotion is changing, our feelings are changing, our body is changing, we are thinking more, and all that can cause conflict. So when you have other friendships or new friends, it can become an issue with your friends. All right. So they might want to know, am I still his friend? Are we still friends, or are we no longer friends? Okay. Then misunderstanding, when you don't understand your friends, when you argue with them, those things can result into conflicts with your friends. And then when you begin to keep other boyfriends or girlfriends, can also other things that cause conflict with friends include the choice of things to do together, because if you're thinking more, your choices might begin to differ. Then the way they talk to you, especially when they talk you down, can also cause conflict. And when they do not listen to you, when they only talk about themselves, um, you might begin to feel uncomfortable with them. Another thing is jealousy. So let's quickly look at other things things we can do to find a middle ground with friends. Okay, the first thing is try not to demand too much support and attention without giving some in return. There is a saying that he who will have friends must himself be friendly. If you're not friendly, then you shouldn't be expecting friends. You shouldn't demand what you are not giving in return. That will mean a lot of selfishness when you only demand it and then you don't give in return. You need to show mutual respect. Okay, like they say, respect is reciprocal. You give it, you get it. And you need to be honest. If you're not comfortable with what someone says to you, then you need to be honest with the person. Let the person know you're not comfortable with what they're saying. And if you let a friend tell you how to behave and what to do, then you are not being fair to yourself or to them. You are already making yourself someone who will be dictated to. Okay? Don't let friends tell you how to behave. Think things through. Think, this puberty, this time is a period of time where you can develop your own philosophies about life, the things you believe in, and you should have a reason for doing whatever you are doing, not just to do it because you are being told to do it. You must have a reason, because if you understand what you're doing, if you have a reason for doing it, it will help you, especially when you get to a point where you don't even have people around you guiding you. You must have reasons for whatever you do. Okay, so let's go to the internal changes, okay, internal parts of the body. Okay, this is the male reproductive system, and quickly look at the parts. You know, the male reproductive system actually is referred to as the urinogenital. Why? Because the urinary system is linked to the reproductive system in males. In females, it's not like that. So the urinogenital, you can see here we have the bladder, and it's the stuff for urine. The urine will move through the urethra in the penis to come to the outside. The same thing for the sperm cells produced in the testes held by the scrotum. When they are being produced, they are being transported, okay, into the seminal vesicle, where the fluid will be added onto them and then released to the outside through the same urethra in the penis. So that's why it's referred to as urinogenital system, the urinary system and the genital system together. Okay, and of course, the second opening in males down there is the anus, which leads to the rectum and to the remaining parts of the alimentary canal, the digestive system. Okay, so we can see the penis itself. You can see the glans. Penis, that's the head of the penis. We can see the scrotum, which is the bag that houses the testes, where the sperm cells are being produced. There are a pair of the testes. Okay, in males. All right, let's look closer at the anatomy and what each part does. There's the urethra, which I told you is a tube, through which urine and semen leaves the body, a boy's body. And then we have the penis itself. It's a tube-like organ that hangs outside the body. It comes in different sizes and shapes as determined by individual genes. Okay, some are small, some are quite big, long. Okay, different sizes and different shapes depending on the genes. And then we have the testicle or the testes, which are usually two, one hanging lower than the other. Sometimes people call them balls or knots, and that's where the sperms are made. The sperm cells are the male reproductive sex cell. Okay, the sperm cell, a sperm cell is the reproductive sperm sex cell. Okay, like in plants we have the pollen, which is a reproductive sex cell for male plants, but in human beings it's called the sperm or the sperm cell. Then we have the scrotum. The scrotum is a bag of skin that holds the testicles or the testes. It keeps them at the right temperature, you know, just a little behind the penis, keeping them at the right body temperature, and it gets bigger and more baggier, you know, heavier, turns into a darker color. So now about the penis and the testicles. The penis usually grow bigger and longer. At times, one grows faster than the other. That's natural. It's nothing to worry about. And one hangs lower than the other. That's also natural. Then the pubic hair will start to grow at the base of the penis. The pubic hair starts to grow at the base of the penis as you get older. Then the hair gets thicker and more coarse. Okay, like I said, there are different shapes and sizes, and they are different. Okay, it's the penis will not stop growing until it gets to between the ages of 18 to 21. It will still keep growing. So during this adolescence, the body is really still growing, trying to get to the adult uh, shape and size. And there's what is known as erection. While we're still talking about the penis, the erection happens when extra blood flows to the penis, and this causes the penis to harden and lengthen. If you look at the picture, you know, it addings and length increases. And most of them are not straight. When there is an erection, it's not straight. It tends to either curve upward or to one side. And it can happen at any time. It can happen when you touch it, when you're having sexual thoughts, and also when you see someone attractive, or for no reason at all. Um, it can happen. So the knowledge of knowing that it can happen means you should know how to control yourself, knowing that your body is still developing. You're not an adult yet. And then there's erection at times. The semen, that's sperm and the fluid uh, produced in the seminal vesicle, spots out of the penis, and this is called ejaculation. And this happens when there is a contraction, okay, a tightening at the base of the penis, okay, to cause an expansion and a contraction, which pushes the semen through um, to the through the urethra and out of the tip of the penis, okay. But it doesn't happen every time there is an erection. It's happened at times. It happens when there is an erection, but it's not just when there is an erection, okay. Sometimes you ejaculate when you're asleep, and this is called wet dreams, or what you call nocturnal emission. It's called wet dreams. It happens without you knowing it. You don't cause it, you might just notice when you sleep that when you wake up that your sheets feel wet or sticky. And when you wake up, of course, you'll be able to differentiate that from urine, knowing that urine will only feel wet, not sticky. Okay, and most male adolescents they experience that between the age of 12 to 18, and you need to know that it's quite normal. Okay, but by the time your body has established a right rhythm, that's when you are way as you grow older, as you get to the age 18 and more, you will begin to experience wet dreams less frequently as you'll be able to control your body the more. All right. Another thing that it's of very great importance in boys is sweat. Okay, sweat is actually the normal way for the body to cool down, a natural way for the body to cool down. And if left on the body, it can become smelly when it mixes with bacteria. And don't forget that we have bacteria that lives normally on the skin in their own normal flora. Okay, so such bacteria, when they mix with the sweat, it really becomes smelly. And especially, boys, we have a lot of energy. You can do sports, you're very active, you move around very actively and all that, and tend to sweat a lot. Okay, so by the time you're sweated and you did not take a bath, it can become smelly. So personal hygiene is very, very important during puberty. Very important. We need to wash our clothes. We need to wash our face with warm water, especially for the acne. We need to take a bath to prevent the smelly body. Bathe with soap, not just water. And then we need to do body grooming. Okay, remove the hair on the armpits, because by the time the hair is there and the sweat is there, the hair, the the armpit hair also traps heat, and then the sweat and everything, and so the bacteria will be able to work more and produce the offensive odor. And I'm sure that nobody likes to smell, but we must keep that at the back of our mind that anybody can smell, as long as you do not take personal hygiene as being very important, then you can have body odor. All right, thank you very much for viewing. If you have any question, you can send it. You can meet me in the comment box, and I will gladly answer any question relating to this topic. I'm so excited to bring this to you. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you.